Hey, this is an interesting one. At the end of the video, I have a proposal for anyone interested in Japanese retro gaming and preserving video game history. I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 150, Dezaemon 3D. Released exclusively in Japan in 1998, this game was developed and published by Athena. So we've got another Japanese exclusive title, and this time it's not a bad one. Looking into it a bit, it appears this is a shoot 'em up, but also with a built-in editor to create your own games. We previously played Star Soldier back at game 15, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully this one's pretty good too. There's only one way to find out. Let's get into it. Quick shout out to Who Was Phone on GameFAQs for writing translation guides for most of these N64 games. They have been extremely helpful in beating them. Link in the description. Athena. Upon turning the game on, it warned me about saving my data. More importantly, what's up with this super sad looking wireframe? Don't need a real face to know that guy is very depressed. So this game's really interesting. It's actually a shoot 'em up maker where you can design your own game within. I'll get to that part later though. For now, the devs included 2 games of their own to show off what you can do. These apparently were built using the in-game tools, which is pretty awesome. The first is called Solid Gear. It shows a lengthy cutscene with your ship coming out of the docking station or whatever, as well as some basic dialogue. Then we get into the gameplay. As I mentioned before, this is a shoot 'em up, but with some 3D elements. The ship can launch a basic machine gun laser attack, as well as locking on with more powerful lasers. Sometimes the enemies drop power-ups, like this big S is one that increases the amount of basic lasers I shoot. About a minute into the level, it played a brief cutscene showing an image for the first boss. At the start, a bunch of lasers went all over the screen, which ended up being me accidentally using one of my bombs. Usually in a shmup, you have a bomb type attack as a last resort type thing. It either kills all enemies on screen or deals heavy damage to a boss. Anyway, the boss died quite quickly. No trouble at all. On to level 2 I went. Near the start I had my first death. Didn't notice the little orange projectiles flying at me. Annoyingly, I lost all my upgrades I had previously picked up when I died. I hate when they do that. I picked up a shield power-up which was very welcome. It's just nice to not have to worry about anything hurting me. Before I knew it, the second boss had appeared. Well, at least the cutscene for it happened. There was a long build-up to actually see the boss. So it's this massive ship that takes up like half the screen and it shoots lasers forward. However, since it spawned in front of me, it couldn't hit me. That is, until it moved backward into me. How was I supposed to dodge that? After damaging it for a while, it started launching these energy beams backward. None of the attacks were the problem, it was the dang thing moving right into me. Man, it takes up so much room. When you get a game over, you go back to the start of the current level. However, since I lost all my power-ups, I decided to just start the game over to try to stay deathless. Yeah, so I think the red enemies give you power-ups. What was that? Yeah, that didn't really work out. I just got completely sniped by a laser from off screen. How was I meant to avoid that? Like, come on. On my 3rd attempt, I managed to make it to the second boss damageless. Man, this thing is way tankier than the first one. Guess it makes sense given how big it is. I ended up getting hit though, and there goes all my DPS. After 3 deaths and a bomb each time I died, it finally went down. Jeez, I swear that one had like 15 times more health than the first boss. What a difficulty spike. It shows a rather aggressive cutscene of the ship crashing down into the town, then my ship went back to the main bay to dock. Now it's on to level 3. This one was a bit odd in that it wasn't a vertical or horizontal level. It was kind of a diagonal perspective, like I was moving into the screen. A bit disorienting. Regardless of the perspective, I got wrecked quite early on and had another game over. Further into the level, there were these spinning green lasers that were a bit tricky to avoid. Reminder, this game was built completely using the in-game design tools. One annoying thing with this particular shmup was if you died, it was kinda worth it to just game over on purpose because you'd start on the same level with full lives. I guess if you were going for a high score, that would be a bad idea though. Then there was this part where the camera perspective completely shifted. Like, this looks cool and all, but man, for playability, this 3D-esque view is quite tough. Then came the third boss. It was basically a big wall with a red dot on it that occasionally shot out a beam. There were guns on the bottom that constantly shot projectiles. Again, this perspective just made it so hard to tell where I had to move to dodge things. I really had no chance with only one life left, you know? When I got back to the boss, it started opening up a door on the bottom where tanks would come out. You know, along with all the other nonsense on the screen. Man, this is just insane. Somehow, I didn't die to the things falling down at the end, and the boss was dead. Good riddance. Level 4 had me going through a similar looking area with lots of security cameras beaming on me. I'm not sure if they did anything or if they were just for aesthetics. One annoying thing with this game is how the power-ups move away from you. It's like they don't want you to get stronger and have a chance. Later, there were these huge Gundam Wing looking enemies that were way tankier than the other regular guys. Another thing that was tricky with this is the perspective of enemies. Some enemies are on the same plane as you, so you can hit them with the basic gun. Others are above or below, so you need to hit them with the lock-on laser. The problem is, it's not immediately obvious where they're located in a 3D sense, so it almost feels random. Anyway, I made it to the boss of the level eventually. A huge white ship that was trying to blast me as it went backwards. After a few seconds, it docked on a station and I had to fight it there. It's kind of strange because this thing was just not as hard as the last two. The attacks were way more predictable and there was more room to move around. I welcomed the step back in difficulty, but it felt odd with the last levels getting so hard. I almost won on my first try, but dang it, got hit just before securing the kill. After 2 more attempts at it, I blew that thing up. It shows a cutscene where we narrowly escape while the tunnel of the station is exploding just behind us. Now it was time for level 5, the final level. You know it's a bad sign when the game gives you a ton of power-ups right off the bat. The info screen for the boss just said no data. Sounds like the final boss to me. So the boss is this stationary computer type thing in the back of this place. It starts by just shooting a few projectiles at a slow rate, easily dodgeable. After a while, it started sending these slow-moving bombs toward me. I could destroy them, but it was easier to just move out of the way. Then it started adding in some lasers along the side for good measure. My god, this thing's so spammy. The game definitely got a bit laggy with all this stuff happening too. The amount of projectiles got insanely high after a couple minutes of fighting. Must be an enrage phase or something, cause good luck dodging all that. After fighting for like 3 minutes straight, it finally died. There isn't really a cutscene after killing it. It jumps straight to the credits. Well, with that done, I guess this game is technically beaten. But there is another game they put on here, so may as well play it, right? The other game they created is called Usagi-san. And, it is quite different from that last one. I believe this is a subgenre of shoot 'em up called cute 'em up. I'm not even making that up, I think it's a real thing. The main enemies are robot bunny rabbits that launch carrots. The sounds are all things you'd hear in a cartoon or an anime, and it just doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like here's some rabbits running on a log in the water. Note the bottle just floating there as well. I think the devs were trying to show how wide the variety of things you can build with their engine is. Once I'd killed those bunnies on the log, level 1 was beaten. The next level turned into a pure 2D shoot 'em up with a side view. It also has me killing fish because now we're underwater somehow. Oh my god, this is great! I need to explore more of these cute 'em up games. Every now and then there are rings you can fly through to gain more points. This one doesn't have any kind of weapon upgrades or anything like that, you only have the basic gun. And look at this! There's a massive swinging hammer trying to whack me. The boss of this area was a bunny in trouble. It was surrounded by 2 sharks that were launching missiles at me. Wait, am I now saving the bunny? We were just murdering all of them in the last level. Taking down the sharks beat it. Level 3 was certainly a choice. It felt like the level was being played upside down. Oh my god, I did not like this. Thankfully, this was not really a level at all. After 20 seconds of flying through rings, it was over. Maybe they were inspired by Superman 64. Good, level 4 brought me back to a normal perspective. Geez, they decided to bring back the spammy enemies on this one, didn't they? What a mess. I thought I had ran into the boss, this colossal bunny on an island. I wasn't able to deal any damage to it though. After about 15 seconds, it just died on its own. Okay. Then there was a bunny being dragged by 2 fighter jets. They just shot missiles and projectiles occasionally, nothing crazy. Once I blew them up, it was over. Also, the bunny fell into the ocean and drowned. There were 2 faces that popped up, and the one on the bottom asked me if I thought that was fun. I think that's the mascot for the game's designer. The guy on top said no, it was boring, so the mascot said, well, you should make it yourself then. You know what, I agree. I loved that one, no complaining, kid. After that, the credits played once again, so I had now beaten both of the included games. Except there was a 3rd secret game included. Oh my god, no way. This one is called Ramsey, and it's strange that they hid it behind a cheat code. The gameplay for this one is basically the same as the first game, Solid Gear. After going through the level, it abruptly cut to a black screen, and I guess it was time for the boss. Honestly, it's pretty cool that you can add cutscenes to these games. So for the boss itself, the screen was just flashing like crazy, and it kept launching this wide energy beam down the center. I just kinda spammed attacks and moved out of the way when that happened. Super easy. Oh god, level 2 is another one of those upside down ones. How did they think this was fun? I don't think I've ever played something so disorienting as this. Anyway, I ran into the second boss where there were a ton of butterflies all over the screen. And the instant it attacked, I died and got a game over. Just like the others, you start over on the same level with all your lives back. This time around, I didn't get insta-killed. At least the boss is also upside down in this instance, so it helps with perspective. When it moves closer to me, it feels impossible to know which way to move to avoid colliding with it though. Anyway, the boss died within like 30 seconds, and then it popped up saying all stage clear. Oh, that must be why they hid this one. It's only 2 levels long, so that would definitely feel quite underwhelming. Anyway, that's all the pre-made games this has. Like I said at the start, this game is more of a game designer than a game you're supposed to play. The point of this was to buy it and build your own game. It comes with a tutorial section that is quite in-depth. There are several sections here, but it's all in Japanese and too hard to understand. So the editor is absolutely massive. It's just so overwhelming. Not to mention how it's all in a language I don't know. It seems there's a full 3D modeling tool within, but I just can't even understand how to get started. There's some pre-made designs you can place, but again, I didn't know what the heck was going on with any of this. You can adjust how ships behave and the camera with the tool to make objects. You design them, how they attack, how they react to being shot, and when they shoot. I really gave it a decent effort to try to show this off, but it just felt impossible. Who Was Phone's guide translates how it works pretty well, but it's still too hard. Maybe if I spent several weeks studying it, I could get the hang of it, but yeah, my custom game wasn't looking so hot. The other thing this has is a music editor. Here you can create custom sound effects as well as songs for your levels. So the music in these games can be whatever you want. I definitely don't know about creating my own songs, but it at least makes a bit more sense than the 3D modeling does. I just kinda spammed some stuff and it at least played something. Hey, that's the piano I put in. So yeah, I could see someone sitting here for months to create something if they were really dedicated. Kind of hard without being able to read Japanese though. Speaking of which, there is one more thing that is quite mysterious about this game. I was reading the manual translation from Who Was Phone, and at the very end it mentions a design contest. Apparently the devs held a contest to create a custom game where the winner would be presented with a big prize. Players were to record their gameplay on a VHS tape and then send it in. If the entry made it to the qualifying round, the player was to send in their cartridge to have them extract the game from it. Basically, this means there are potentially quote-unquote official shoot-em-ups out there somewhere. I don't know Japanese, so it's hard for me to search for anything about it. Athena went bankrupt in 2013, and the rights to their games were purchased by the publisher Hamster Corporation in September 2023. I know it's a long shot, but there is a non-zero chance that these cartridges are out there with some really cool shmups on them. If you have any interest in preserving video game history or anything like that, it'd be cool to learn about this contest, who won, and most importantly, if these games are out there and can be uploaded digitally for all to enjoy. I'm finding zero info, but well, I don't know what to look for. I don't even know the language. It's unlikely, but maybe one of you watching would know something about this, or maybe someone who would. Just thought I'd bring it up. But yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it, my journey to beating Dezaemon 3D. Really, this game is just a piece of software that you use. The devs did include some sample games to make it something enjoyable to play though. I will forever remember this game as the one to introduce me to cute-em-ups. I want to play more of those. Honestly, it's just way too overwhelming, even if you know Japanese. I feel like to create anything decent would take hundreds of hours of effort. They practically gave the players their in-house dev tools to work with. For being in the 90s, this would have been insanely cool to have though if you were into game development. It feels unlikely, but maybe someone really did make something awesome with this. The physics were good enough for a shoot 'em up, although Star Soldier is the much better game on the N64. Overall, it's pretty good. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 3.5 out of 10 for difficulty. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. 241 games on the list. Could be any of them. Let's see what it is. 3, 2, 1, go. 112? What's that? Ah, we are playing the next Madden game, which is Madden 99. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.